Bueno, mila esker biei hemen egoteagatik. Kaixo, ez gea ezagutzen Alizia Otsoa naiz ni. Eta ez gea ezagutzen, baina Alizia Otsoa naiz ni. Arratsaldeon.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Ongi etorri, that's in Basque. As you've seen in the program, we have the title behind Glamour, the actor facing the new recruiting paradigms. So we have new paradigms, new models for recruiting actors, and we need to know where we are. We need to answer and respond to this situation when we speak about natural actors or non-professional actors, influencers, followers, haters, AI. And I don't know if this has an impact on your job. What do we need to do against this or with it? Glamour is a word that we use to describe or to uncover non-glamorous situations. But we're not here to hide anything, but to carry out a study on the recruitment situation of actors. I have a fantastic panel with me today. And an honor row here in front of me.
Eremu guztietan.
Actors and actresses with a long experience in cinema, television, theater platforms, and on all media. We would like them to tell us their stories, their experience as actors. Thank you very much for being here. Full room. For me, it's a pleasure to introduce you to Belén Cruz, Pardo Iñaki Rastorza, Jon Olivares, Telmo Irureta, Event Filang. A round of applause for all of them.
Bueno, el idioma de la mesa será el castellano, pero bueno, si alguien quiere hacer...
Well, if you want to ask questions in in English or Basque or Spanish, you can do that. You have headphones for that. Before starting, we will have a little pincho, a little nibbling after this session, so that if you're hungry, you will have to wait for that. Our panel, Sara Mora. She has a PhD on rights. She has been a legal consultant for many organizations, both the Confederation of Trade Union Federations, and she's a legal consultant of the Galician Union of Actors and Actresses and the Actors Union of Murcia region. She's a speaker with the Subcommission of Culture in order to draft the recommendations of the Artist Statute. She participates in the working groups for the development of these recommendations and in the collective bargaining of the sector. Thank you for being here. And then we have Yolanda Serrano and Eva Leira. They don't need any presentation because they're very well known already. Yolanda has done Hispanic philology studies, and Eva has a PhD in audiovisual communication. In 2022, they united in casting operations, and they have a very specific way of working together. In the last 10 years, they've been developing teaching teaching activities with actors and actresses. Thank you. And then we have Maria Jose Zulueta. She has studies in prehistory and archaeology. Since 1989, she's been doing production for television, and she's been an agent for actors and actresses with TV chains. She's the secretary of ANA, which is the National Association of Artistic Agents. Thank you very much to the four of you. It's a great honor to have you here in this panel. Thank you.
Y si os parece, vamos a empezar.
Let's start with the objective part of this talk. Where are we? What have we succeeded? What is being negotiated? What about recruitment and contracts? Sarah, it's your turn. Very often, when we speak about the statute of an artist, it's not a general standard. The Cultural Subcommission in Spain, in June 2018, approved a series of recommendations that are just amendments of various laws. Some of them are easier to amend, others are more complex. And since 2018, very little milestones have been achieved and some other successes. But we have a lot to do. We have various inter-ministry boards with the presence of trade unions, professional and small trade unions. And we work very hard and we make proposals so that the amendments, the legal amendments to be done, adapt to the recommendations of the Culture Subcommission, and they should be beneficial and favorable for the sector. What have we done? What are our successes? Well, it seems very little, but if you add it up, we have succeeded a lot. And especially the first measure, which is very unknown by many people, it's one of the most obvious situations. As an example, we have the risk of the pregnancy of an actress. It's a ruling here in the Basque Country. And we gave it as an example to our deputies because there was a problem to estimate the moment when the artist will be covered and at the moment of labor and the birth. In 2018, there was the publication of a decree which established the intermittent situation of these actresses. This intermittent situation is not a subsidy. It's like buying the pregnancy leave. But if you pay a little fee every month, you can pay for the whole year, and the artist can be okay because at the moment of the birth and during the pregnancy, she will be able to be paid for the maternity leave and the pregnancy leave. So this is a small step, but we changed the viewpoint. In the past, it was just the moment of the birth. I have to pay a lot to get the money back, and now the situation has changed. I want to be on maternity leave as little as possible because I have to estimate exactly at what moment I'm being paid for the maternity leave. I don't know why, but maybe from the trade unions we haven't been able to convey the situation, this lack of activity, the maternity leaves. When people say to us, oh, I'm pregnant, what do I have to do? I didn't know that this was a legal provision. We don't know, but actresses are not aware of that. What are our successes? Total compatibility of the intellectual property rights with regard to the work income and retirement leave. There's a modification of the IRPF from 15 to 2%. The proposal of the professional unions was that for theatre, 15% is a lot of money. It's better to have the money in the pockets of the artist instead of being in the pockets of the tax authorities. So the legislator said 2% for all for the income tax. But in the income tax applications, most of the actors and actresses have to pay now, because it's not fair for people who have 3 times the standard salary, and most of the time they have to pay more after the income tax statement. It's on a voluntary basis. Actors can pay more if they want, because they've got only 2% income tax. You have to be careful the next year, because you may have to pay more the next year. What else? The compatibility of the retirement pension with artistic work. We had a lot of trouble with this, especially non-contributive pensions, because these non-contributive pensions are subject to a specific level of income, especially for an audiovisual work. In 1 or 2 sessions, that was over. The problem for the ministry was to match this compatibility of the artistic work with the non-contributive subsidies. We've also achieved to have an update of a decree 1435, which is relative to the special professional situation of artists. And now technicians are included, and the assistant staff in culture. So this was an amendment of a decree, and it was done a little late. And in the past, only artists in public shows were included. There were only 10 articles just for actors and artists. Now it has to be applied to technicians, and it's not the same. So today we had a meeting, and we had to send the proposals to the ministry, because this decree is going to be replaced completely with a new decree, which regulates the special labor relations of artists and technicians. We have a new law of artistic teachings and studies for artistic training. So there's a modification. There's a novelty regarding trade union representation. It's one of the great problems that we have, because your job is sometimes very short, because you have very short contracts and short productions. You cannot make trade union elections apart from theme parks. So we are always guests, and we are very small trade unions, and we have to go hand in hand with very big trade unions. Even though we are members, we have this membership of trade unions. So we have shorter periods, but 1 month is to be 1 month with a contract in a production. That's not enough. Maybe a little more than 1 month for a shooting, but sometimes it's 15 days, 20 days, too short, because that's the type of jobs that we have. That's one of the great challenges that we have. So maybe it seems very, very, very small, very few successes. But in the past, there was a specific subsidy, the unemployment subsidy for artists and actors. The problem with this is that due to your activity, it was very difficult to be together 365 days a year, to have the right to have 4 months of unemployment. With 180 days, you can have a specific subsidy for artists and staff in the world of culture. So we have different periods. We need to pay charges, less number of days. in compared with other employees. So we're still paid. It's 4 months unemployment, but at 80% of the IPREM. This is a great step forward. Not enough, maybe, and maybe many people don't know about this. In order to have professional lives that are more complete and comprehensive, to have a more coverage, because when you get to your retirement age, you see that artists have been working for 40 years, and they have very, very, very small pensions. Their retirement pensions are very low, and they cannot survive with that. So the intermittent subsidy plus the unemployment subsidy allows you to have a more complete labor lives without too many holes. Future challenges. We have 75 recommendations in the ruling of the Culture Subcommission. In only 20 or 30 cases, measures have been taken. We have a lot to do yet. So the replacement of the Decree 1435, the idea of the professional unions is that the miners' work should be regulated. There's a great dispersion in Spain. So according to the region, the requirements are different for miners. And the time that is given for miners' work leave is different. And we want to standardize that in order to avoid people going to Galicia, then to Andalusia, and then to Murcia, and to go to other regions in Spain in order to have more advantageous situations. What is pending is a modification of the contribution system. Your contribution system for actors and actresses is not poor, but it can be improved. I don't think that we will have a revolution. We're not going to change your contribution scheme. We cannot change everything. Another essential topic is trade union representation. We need a new formula, a new scheme for that, so that you have trade union representatives in productions. In the national sectorial audiovisual agreement, there are territorial delegates. In all national agreements, we will have those figures, the trade union representatives, so that there's always somebody who will defend you during the productions, so that you don't have to be alone with the producers. In the audiovisual sector, we have succeeded. In the rest of labor agreements, each of the unions in each other regions have to fight for this figure. But if we have that in national agreements, it's easier to apply in different regions in Spain. So important for employees and employers. And finally, that's labor, health, and safety, especially for dancers, because their professional careers are very short. In the case of artists, when they are 35 or 40, they have less and less possibilities to work. So we need to measure these, to establish professional transition rules, so that people can continue to work in the system even though they cannot dance because they're too old, and they need to have a decent pension, or instead of having non-contributive pension, because they need to be useful and have their own contributions. So there are developments, and given the political stability in Spain, we don't know what will be the future of these working groups to develop the statute of artists in Spain. But it's true that we are making progress. We are working very hard in all trade unions. But in our meetings, we see archaeologists. Even archaeologists come to our meetings, not just artists. Archaeologists, a museum restoration experts. The concept of artist is very vague and it's very large. It's very wide. It's not just actors and typical artists. We have many other types of artists. And the fact of aligning the interests of so many people, for instance, a plastic artist or an actress, matching that is very difficult. It's not only difficult for us, but for the ministry, because they have to respond to all these groups that are integrated within the artists' sector. That is the update, the new things that have been achieved. We could be speaking for hours, but this is just a summary. I give the floor to Alicia. I'll be here for your questions. Thank you.
Yolanda and Eva. We were talking last day about these things I was speaking about. We were talking about actors, followers, influencers, haters, and you were saying, well, that is not exactly like that. You did not see that, in fact, that was having an effect on actors and actresses' work. So what can you say? Well, first of all, thank you so much for your effort and for all that struggle. I loved listening to you and to see people like you working and fighting for us. So thank you very much. Yes, thank you. It's true. I loved it. I think it's very, very interesting what you do. You were saying that we've been struggling for many, many years with this fear we have, we actors and actresses. Yes, because there are, YouTubers and influencers and all those new people. We work in productions. We feel as if we belong to an industry. We work in very big productions with highly important directors. And I think we can say that that is not true. And it is a highly negative message for actors. It is a highly negative message. They always say, well, if you do not have a video book, you cannot work, or if your pictures are not like this or like that, or now you need to have I don't know how many friends, if not, you cannot work. No, stop it. That's it. We want people to let us work. We actors and actresses, we just want to get trained to study, and in productions, and we all know each other, those of you who want to work, you do not have to be afraid. No, let's not be afraid of that. I have never looked at how many friends, how a person has in the social media. But it is true that the internet is there. It is true that in the past we would go and read super pop magazines and newspapers and watch regional television. That is what we used to do. We love reading magazines. And now it is true, we go to Instagram. Of course, we also go to YouTubers because there are other windows that have opened up. Being a YouTuber, that is a nightmare for me. If I had to start today, I would never be a YouTuber. No, I wouldn't be able for me. That's how I see it. But it is true that many different opens have opened up so that people can show up. And yes, we need to open up all those windows. As you know, we work a lot and we insist, and maybe I see somebody on the internet, maybe. I see somebody, I find somebody from the social media on Instagram, but that is not enough. That is not an act of faith. Nobody is going to be joining a production just like that. Productions cost a lot of money, and then you need to recover that money, and sometimes we are not able to do it, but that is the intention, so that we all can keep on working. We do not want to be working just to lose money, so that is important for us. So we search, we look for, and of course there are tests, and then we go and talk to the director of the film, and then we can go to the director and say, we love this, because if we do not love this person, it doesn't matter how many followers this person has, you know, I am never going to be inviting to a party somebody just because he has I don't know how many million followers. You invite to your party people you can trust, people you know that they are going to be the best option for a character. So all those messages, they shouldn't be as negative as that, as if, you know, that is something essential for our career. It is true, it is not easy, our career is not easy, but it is very difficult to be a surgeon at the Mount Sinai Hospital. It is difficult sometimes to work out of your passion, but I don't know, we are all going to end up going to the shrink if we need, I don't know how many followers, and to be taking pictures in bathing suits or showing our body like that. No, I refuse. We are deeply convinced and we believe in this. It's not an act of faith, but we show it through our work. Yes, we are so fed up of this, yes. We are fed up because what are people thinking? I mean, of course, please raise your hand how many auditions and how many tests you have done. Yes, how many auditions. Yes, I mean, you have been participating in thousands of auditions and sometimes you were successful and sometimes not. So let's not be afraid. All those horrible messages out there, no. Let's change the tone. When we started working, people were saying, oh, all the time there are the same actors or actresses working, or everybody wants this one or that one. With influencers, the same thing goes. It is true, there are many famous actors who have many followers, and we do not love them because they have many followers. We love them because they are good. So, House of Paper, in a few weeks, there was somebody there with us who went from 0 to 3 million followers. But he didn't start being loved because he had followers. No, just because, you know, he was working well. But the messages are out there, and it is as if we had to do something impossible. How can you obtain followers if you have not started working? What can you do? So as Yolanda was saying, you have to jump out from a bridge or do something satanic or show your body or take pictures in bathing suits. But are you going to become the lead character in a film just because you are showing all that? Well, yes, that could be very funny to see somebody jumping out of the window, but I mean, what does have to do with having the lead role in a film? So we are fed up once again. So no, let's eliminate those ideas. That is not true. If they say that, it's just because they want to piss us off. That's all. Something that we love. You are said, well, we have taken this actor or actress because he or she has more followers. No, that is not true. If you have accepted or taken somebody, that cannot be the reason at all. So that is not true. Very often people, well, here we know examples of people who maybe they didn't get a role, but then they got another, and there wasn't any problem in that first audition, but maybe there was somebody who was better for that character, but that is not a problem whatsoever. There is nothing wrong there. No, we have to change our mind. Stop. That's it. Well, I don't know. Maria Jose, what do you think? Oh, you don't agree? We've known each other for many, many years, so no problem. Please tell us. I cannot agree with you because, you know, reality is reality. Let me give you a very clear example. An audition. We want a prima ballerina, or if we want a violin player, the first violin player for the orchestra. Well, then we have the audition, we have a violin player, and then we have the dancer. But suddenly there is somebody who is very attractive, and you know, we are not going to be auditioning the violin player, but somebody else because he or she is just a friend. Do not interrupt me because I have not interrupted you at all. So I ask for respect, just as I respected you. So in the world of actors, that could happen. Suddenly, somebody who is not an actor nor an actress, who doesn't have a clue, just because this person is like this or like that, more or less attractive, and because this person was at the right time, in the right place, suddenly they reach something that they had never ever thought of nor imagined that can happen in our world. If we are talking about surgery, that can never happen, and that won't happen if you are an architect, because people think that anybody can be an actor. So we are the first ones to blame from that perspective, because we are not giving enough value to training. Yes, we love British auditions, we said. British actors have a great and magnificent preparation. They are so very well trained. So it doesn't matter if we are talking about a short, bold policeman. There will be magnificent actors being able to play that because they have been perfectly well trained. So we cannot lose sight of that. And if we decide, it is true, I agree with you, that the training and professionalism are very, very important, and we should value that. Maybe you can have, you can be a painter, you can know how to paint or to know how to sing, but then you have the skills, but then you need training. Going back to YouTubers, it is true that certain YouTubers have been hired and recruited to play a role. For example, Javier Camara's daughter in Botajuan, this girl was a YouTuber. That's what she was. Well, not only a little bit YouTuber, she was, such a big YouTuber. Yes, I have forgotten about her name. And there are so many other cases in other series. People who come, who are YouTubers or influencers. But that is something ephemeral, but those people are there, and the characters are there, and the roles are there. Now, we are all saying, that cannot be, that has to be changed. Well, that is great, that's great, why not? But the reality is what it is. Alberto Aman, you all know Alberto Aman. And he is not somebody, who just follows rumors, and already he spoke about it, he wrote about it, saying hiring YouTubers is a professional intrusion. And Gerardo Tejero said that, that YouTubers sometimes represent an insult for our profession. Oriol Pla, whose parents are actors, says the same. And then there is a highly interesting article by Valentina Neira, who speaks not only about these examples, just as Álvaro Mel, who was also an influencer and who became a model, but he spoke to Sergi Nadal, the producer, and he said, this is our market. We producers need to exploit, yes, to hire YouTubers. And also actors having as many followers as possible. Sergi Nadal, imagine a TV producer, was saying that. A gentleman who, that we all know. And it is, there are algorithms today, who follow all that. But if we speak about followers, and maybe later on you, Sarah, can speak about it, this is so very important that in certain contracts, actors and actresses are asked to share with the producers their personal social media, to put that at the service of the producers. This is just as if you want to recruit somebody and then you are asking this candidate to share with the company all his telephone list. Well, I don't know, but I think that happens. That happens when we are talking about series for young people. No, yes, only when we are talking about young people. Maybe that was something happening at the beginning, but now this is something that has spread all over. Yes, the actor or the actress, and I can show you 30 contracts. So it is compulsory. The actor and the actress has to be putting at the service of the producers all those social media contacts. Yes, it's on the contract, black on white. That is the reality, and I think this is quite dangerous. Yes, this can be quite dangerous because this goes against professionalism, against learning, and against training for actors and actresses. We do not realize that this is going to be having an effect on production work, because if they haven't been duly trained, they won't be able to be successful and to be good actors or actresses. I would like to ask a question. For example, what do we think about Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga, she's a singer and a marvelous actress as well. In the US, we are used to having people going from one discipline to another. Wait a moment. I am not saying I will never take that or recruit that YouTuber just because she's a YouTuber. If we see somebody who is a good actor, even if maybe this person is still not an actor. For example, Jesus Carroza, somebody that we found when he was 16 years old at high school. He's a magnificent actor. He was not an actor there. Now he has been awarded with Goyas, with skills that he later on has improved because he has got trained. Then what do we do with them, with these people? There are thousands of people in this world. Lady Gaga, she shoots a movie, and there she is. She's an incredible actress. We were all astonished when we saw her. No, not at all. She was a singer. No, she was not an actress from the beginning. No. Well, yes, she's not using the microphone. No. I mean, she was recruited because she went there to sing, but then she was taken as an actress. So if somebody is there, it's because this person has been in that audition doing the same thing as other colleagues, and if we choose this person, it's because he or she are the best, just like that. Well, we represent this profession. We have been involved in very important productions, such as, for example, House of Paper, and 80% of our actors and actresses were unknown. Ursula van der Rohe maybe was the only one who was well known, but she had to go through the audition as well. And Paco Tous. But we cannot generalize all the productions. In certain productions, they know that there is going to be this influencer conveying or representing himself or herself because that is good for the script, for the scene area. But what about Matias Prats, who is a very well-known Spanish journalist? Are we going to be using him as an actor in a movie? Well, the same thing goes. Well, and how many times? This lady is not using the microphone, sorry. So what about her training? Did she get trained before, this girl? I don't know who she's talking about. No, I don't think so. She was a YouTuber, and she started working with that YouTuber. Sorry, I don't know about her. We always say it. We are storytellers. The script comes to us, and then we have to try and find the best people to tell that story. In other industries, it doesn't matter. Gomorrah, we all loved Gomorrah, right? And, they were not Shakespearean actors or actresses, so storytellers. I am for training, of course. Yes, that is so very important. We have to keep on studying. We are elite sports people. We have to be training and training so that when the competition arrives, we have to be ready. And you have to keep on investing, and you have not money to pay the rent. I know it is very hard and very difficult, but there are certain characters that, came to us only like that. For certain roles. We cannot say this doesn't exist. This exists. Yes, and professional intrusism is there. It is true that, if we want a dancer, we will only have in an audition dancers and not the friends of dancers. But our case is different. We are not working with only with the dance. We work with the body. We work with the heart. We are living a different reality. Today, we are all witnessing a revolution because actors, they are not only interpreters, they are creators. That is a revolution. The very best projects which are being successful today are being created by actors and actresses, because many of them were unemployed and they had to self-employ themselves. When we started getting projects coming from actors, producers, what did they say? They said, oh, because you are not script writers, you cannot write. I have heard that so many times. So once again, intrusiveness. And script writers, what do they say? Now anybody can write a script, and now actors directing. And well, yes, once again. And YouTubers, can they become actors? If that YouTuber goes to an audition and if he is the best in that audition, on equal opportunities, if he goes to those 200 or if he undergoes 200 tests, yes, but then results are there. Luckily enough, results are there. And you see that they were not the best option. Let me go back to Lady Gaga. Okay, we're talking about a YouTuber going to an audition, and maybe you are not going to be having the time to have real actors auditioning.
We don't need to get bold about this and get cross. There are projects in this life that will force us to get out of our margins. We have the example of Veneno. Veneno, this is a project for you. And what do I do? Because she wasn't an actor. How many actresses were present in Veneno? Nobody. Because our lead actress was a transsexual lady, and it was very important that she was a transsexual, and we couldn't find a transsexual actress. It was essential. It was a premiere project. It was very exclusive. I'm talking about Elite and other projects. We did the first season of Elite. It was a success in the whole world. There were no influencers in the first season of Elite. They were actors, and all of them did casting calls. I cannot admit that this is something that it doesn't exist. That exists. It's there. The number of followers is counted because they're famous. Who's got more followers in this country? Álvaro Morte. He's famous. If we compare an actor having 20,000 followers and another one not present in the social media, of course they're not in that we cannot compare. Alberto Amán did a casting with us. He was in Cádiz. He was selling bracelets. When we showed Alberto Amán in Telecinco, they didn't want to take him because he's an Argentinian. We said that he was from the Canary Islands. We said, he's a Canarian. Oh, he's got an accent. Yes, he's from the Canary Islands, but he's Argentinian. That's why I was saying Alberto Amán cannot be defined about an intruder. He's denounced the intrusiveness of influencers and YouTubers. With time, things are seen in a different way. If we hadn't had him in a basket that wasn't devoted to him because he was Argentinian and he wasn't an actor, he wasn't an untrained actor. We don't know because he was selling bracelets in Cádiz. You can find many actors many actors, trained actors working in bars. In Argentina, the Actors Foundation is very important and training is very good. But we crossed that line. Maybe Alberto is a fantastic actor. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cast a person who's selling bracelets, but if this person has a training, it's better. Unfortunately, I didn't want to say it, but unfortunately, this work is related with so many other elements at the same time. And I defend training. I'm for training, but sometimes that doesn't allow you to touch the stars. It's magic. It's something else. You can be trained for 100 years in various universities. It's like singers. You are a fantastic singer, but if you don't have any soul, you will sing in your shower. That's the difference of our job. Of course, it's not fair for many people. But we cannot say in our office that we need a person to read the resumes, because we don't need the resumes. With the casting calls, we demonstrate what we do with auditions. We want to see the work that we carry out in our contact with these actors. As Sarah said, this has implications in the daily lives of the production and the project, because these people, during a casting call, is fascinating, but then in the daily life, during the shootings, etc., the people need to sacrifice themselves, and glamour is not there all the time. And if the person is failing during the shooting, it means that the person is not the right one, because some of the people do not behave properly during the shooting, because it's every day in daily lives, during the work, in the set, these people may not behave properly. Well, I think that's quite clear. Talking about intrusiveness, it's important. But could you speak about artificial intelligence, AI, especially for dubbing actors, because they're afraid of the situation? We've seen AI doing dubbing, and it's fantastic. I want to think that the human soul is able to move people, but maybe the AI is not going to move anyone. Yes, in May, I was in a congress, the International Artists Federation, the FIA, and we were just talking about AI, the effect that this is having in the dubbing profession. With just a button, this is a disappearing profession, because artificial intelligence is dubbing all languages with all voices and for free. I wish that this doesn't happen. But the representative from the Hungarian Union said, in 5 minutes, I did an opera in Italian with music, with the words, and I don't know how to speak Italian. With a little program, in 5 minutes, you can make a film about El Quijote, Don Quixote. And the proposal that we sent the ministry today, we've foreseen this situation. Let's put limits to artificial intelligence, but we don't know how this is going to evolve, how it's going to develop. We cannot limit, we cannot restrict AI. But we are asking for something in the collective bargaining and collective agreements. We're talking about this. It's aberrant that extras are scanned full body, and this scanning of their full bodies is kept and saved forever. So, and if we produce on the moon, this scan will be kept. So this extra actor is scanned, the full body scanning, for 54 euros. And the contracts, what about rights? So these people can train any type of AI. That's why we say that self-tapes that are very, very fashionable for castings, this material shouldn't be used to train AI. It has to be destroyed after the casting. So AISRE makes pressure because it has to defend your rights. The problem is that we don't know how it's going to be, because we know how it's going to be developing. At European level, there's a great concern. The contracts include that. In fact, you give that right for the whole of your life. In contracts, there is intellectual property clause. It's so long that nobody reads it. Nobody reads that. It's too long. It's not work as usual. It's not. We have to be careful with these clauses, with these paragraphs, because nobody reads them. So we can put patches and band-aids, but we don't know where the wound would go. We had to demand the legislators to limit this power of AI. The problem is that we are not in the US. We don't have the ability to say, I'm stopping all the productions, and we go on strike. And until we get to an agreement, nobody will work. We don't have this capacity in Spain. We don't know how this is going to be, how it's going to be in the US after the strike, but people are very afraid. Professions as the extras are extinguishing, are disappearing, dubbers are disappearing, in performing arts. I think this is going to be more complicated, but we may have 3 actors, and the rest, the music and everything, will be like robots doing the things and replacing people, but we don't know. For the moment, we are building castles in the air because AI makes faster steps than us. We are just putting band-aids, and as it develops, we will need to adapt. There are many sequences and many scenes are shot with AI. After the Congress in Paris, with ChatGPT, you can make a song. And with something, I put music to it, and it was very good. The sound is very good. And I'm a lawyer and don't know anything about music, but I can make music with ChatGPT. The public wants to take the floor. We have a limited time, but good news, please give us good news. Yes, we need a drink. We always give very good news. Decentralization of shooting locations. So maybe this cake is being shared more fairly. Yes, we want to make castings and tests in the locations. We don't want to do self-tape. We don't like self-tape. Because people are very alone doing that, because you cannot really adapt to the real situation of the real locations where the shooting is going to be done. We use Zoom, and so there's remote castings. And here, all the productions are here in the Basque Country. Here, it's 100% shootings being done in the Basque Country, so I suppose you're very happy with it. I have problems with these types of contracts. That is with the traveling expenses that have to be paid. Yes, they say we are locals, but in fact they come from Seville. We shoot in Bilbao, but maybe people live at 100 kilometers from Bilbao, so they have to be paid for these traveling expenses. Mario, you wanted to say something? With the microphone, please. Talking about intrusive actors, I've started 60 years ago. When I started, intrusiveness was a hot topic. And people say, if you are good, you make movies. Otherwise, you go to the movies. It's true. After many months and years of discussions, the profession decided that we wouldn't be talking about intrusiveness anymore because it was normal. It was unavoidable. Intruding actors, that is unavoidable. Endemic. It's endemic. Many intruders. Now they are YouTubers becoming actors. I started before the social media. When we started, we worked for producing companies, and sometimes the operator or the microphone or the technicians sometimes had 2 lines in a movie. Now, this is quite impossible. But now the sentences and the lines are given to actors. Yes, I was in a movie with bullfighters, and they were not actors, but they were very good. It's a contradiction. We will always see intruding actors. Regarding the emotions that may be produced by an actor through his gaze, through his eyes, you say that the artificial intelligence cannot do it, but the cartoons are able to give emotions. It was an animal. It was a cartoon. It wasn't AI, but it gave you a lot of emotions. So we will have all the feelings, and AI will be able to convey all the feelings and all the emotions. We don't really know for sure. Maybe what is the use of material that is not yours, something that does not belong to you, and then people are making databases with information about you, and they will use that information. I mean, my intellectual property rights are not, I cannot give it to you forever, because people feed AI with your information. It's like Scarlett Johansson with the voice of Siri, and we have a problem because you are not giving those rights for a movie. You're giving those rights for AI for the whole of your life, for the whole of humankind's life. How can you limit AI? That's the problem. And not even that. We are not in this trouble, but now platforms are asking you to give them 100% of the casting work that we carry out. We never deliver that, and we don't sign that because we decided not to sign, because I'm not going to give the casting sessions and auditions of all actors. I cannot give that to them. In the collective agreement, we are going to insist on that, because they cannot have all the auditions and all the casting calls for free. So you carry out a project, and they force you to give them all the casting calls of all the actors. We may give them the selected actors auditions, but not all the rest, because people upload castings and casting calls to a digital platform where they can see a lot of people, executives, etc. We don't have that system. When we do self-tapes, normally we upload that to this type of platforms. We don't do that. It's not your problem. In order to show the casting calls, you upload it on a platform without a filter. You put all the people that you've casted. And for me, it's delirious. It's incredible. We cannot accept it, because I show several actors to the director, but we select those people. We show that audition. You show what you want to show, but you cannot. Otherwise, casting directors would disappear. It's incredible that they keep that material auditions from an actor that hasn't been selected for a film. What are they going to do with that material? The problem is that we don't know what are they going to do with that. I think it's evil. It's bad. You can make a very bad audition, And they may use that bad audition and it can destroy you in the future. Once the casting is over, this should be destroyed. This material should be destroyed. Many years ago, 20 years ago, some casting directors signed a paper, and in that paper, the auditioned actor gave all the rights for these casting calls, and they signed that. Or if you don't sign that, you will not be able to come to my audition. That's the problem. It's blackmail. When we are asked for casting calls for a making of, we never deliver that. Or I can go to the actor and say, do you allow us to give for the making of? Can we give them this material? It's surreal. I don't have a professional relation with this producing company. They've done an audition. I haven't been paid. I haven't been selected for this movie, and I have to give them all my rights forever. It's totally unfair.
I would like to speak in favor of actors who have not a representative.
O sea, soy consciente que muchos directores
Who do not have an agent, sorry. Yes, you sometimes organize open castings, and that is great. First time I worked with you, that was the case, and I thank you for that. But I have many colleagues who have a huge talent, and they do not have an agent because they haven't done anything important before. But I think we are wasting all that talent. Yes, that is why we have a bureau, an office. We agree with you. If somebody comes and if he or she doesn't have an agent, I don't care. I imagine that, it is easier to have an agent because agents play a very important role so as to manage many different things, but that doesn't count for us. You know that. Everybody says material just like that, freely, openly. And we were wondering, how could we devise some sort of mechanism, for example, using Instagram? Maybe once a month. Instagram? What? What's she saying? No, let her talk. Yes, exactly, for all those people who do not have an agent so that they know what we need. But no, don't worry, because we do not need that. We do not need that. One second. If you do not have Instagram, and I do not have Instagram, we have one for the bureau, for the company, but you see, I don't care. If not, you can just use the email, classical methods. Why not? But also because I think that there are many people who maybe they live in a small place or in a remote place. Yes, there are people who are, I don't know, who do not have access, real access to things. Maybe, all his friends are unemployed. I don't know. So, no problem. We do not need an agent. It is as if you can only work with 5 ingredients. You are a chef and you have to cook using 1,000 different ingredients. No, it is not easier. It's not true. You know it. We shot Patria together. We came here, we wanted to shoot Patria, and we needed from scratch, we needed Basque actors and actresses. I wish it was easier. Well, it is not. It's more fun, that's true. If we could say, well, that is linked to what we were saying. This is a material which is alive. This is such a difficult work to carry out. If we want to tell the story, we need your soul, your gaze. This is not an exact science. If it was as easy as that, I grab the telephone, I call the agents, and I say, I need a 25-year-old guy or a 20-year-old girl. that means nothing. Age means nothing. It's just a ridiculous starting point to put people in a box. Or I need a woman in her 40s. What does it mean? There are thousands of things to integrate that age, to make up that age. If with that telephone call to all the agents, if we have offers and then auditions, where can we sign? That has never happened to us. It has never been as easy as that. So yes, please, if you don't have an agent, it doesn't matter. Contact us and we'll love it and we'll love you. Yes, they love it. Yes, they love to discover. It's not just the fact of discovering. It's not just that. And it's not just that we love it, but I mean, it's necessary. And then we enjoy that. Yes, of course. When you have been working a lot and suddenly you find that diamond, yes, but there is a lot of work before. But when you do not find the diamond, well, at that point, we are very upset. Sure, of course. Something else I would like you to speak about, something that affects me in particular, is what about women? What happens with women over 40? Yes, I agree with you. What about women? We are in the best moment of life. Yes, we should repeat it to ourselves. Well, I don't know. Go and talk to script writers. That is why we believe in the talent generated by actors and actresses. We firmly believe on that. The future belongs to you. You have a talent. You have the skills, you have ideas, and at a certain point we say, who is going to be writing a story, a role for a woman in her 50s? Well, a scriptwriter in her 50s. And sometimes you say, yes, sure, if we do not write it ourselves, yes, I agree. We are very jealous when we go abroad, and abroad in other countries, are you thinking or talking about English people? Well, when you see one of these productions, but it's hard for them as well. There are not as many productions as that where most of the actors are in their 50s. Yes. Well, we need to fight. It is true, there are not characters for women in their 50s. Yes, script writers are not writing for women in their 50s. And also platforms are not interested on those people, because sometimes we're talking about adaptations, yes, but you also know that they're on top. The executives want something concrete. Well, platforms, they want to repeat their stories of success, but there was once, an occasion, somebody who went to them with a project that was different, and it was successful, yes. You know, but executives usually tend to be prudent. They are scared, they want to succeed. So we asked the audience, a spin-off of the House of Cards, a spin-off, what can you propose? And they said, a robbery. But that is like an algorithm, wearing a mask. Well, oh, what a great idea. A robbery and people wearing a mask. Do we repeat things? Yes, sure. We keep on repeating things. Maybe we can stop at a certain moment, but the algorithm is not going to say. Yes, we need to trust the creative talent of people, and we have to be daring and go beyond the borders. I wouldn't like to interrupt you, but Yvette, a question? Yes, Alicia. I come from California. I'm a foreigner here, so I am always going to be given a role as a foreigner. I am a foreigner, but then I have the age. I mean, I am 48 years old. That's my age. And if I want to work, I need to create my own characters, my own roles. When I saw Frankie and Grace for the first time, haven't you seen it? I started crying because I said, oh my God, now I will be able to work. I know that there is work for me In the past, there wasn't anything for older women, and now I see that there is hope for us, and I trust in the world. I know that in the US, for example, we have morning show, and they are fighting so much, they are struggling so much. So that will come here, I'm sure. Let's be hopeful. What you were saying was so very interesting, Instagram and all that. I grew up in California, and very often we heard, oh, this one or that one was found in a bar and he or she became super famous because it was like that in the past. But how many people are found in a bar? Charlize Theron, first day in Hollywood, there she was, and then she became famous. Well, it is much more beautiful to tell that story than saying, oh, and those two actresses were working so hard and so hard. It's much more fun, yes. For journalists, that story is nicer. Well, most of the actors or actresses they are working hard, very, very hard. This profession of ours is not easy. Yes, we were speaking about training, but we also need marketing. This ends up being a business. And if you do not know that I exist, then how can you recruit me? So I have to become visible for you, right? So that is why... No microphone? As they were saying, it's true that now things are changing. Yes, how we show ourselves. In the past, we were using video books. The tools have changed. Only the tools. But that is, only in terms of visibility, not in terms of the business. Tools have changed. I have my tools as an actress. I have my tools. And somebody who helps me is my agent. And the agent is not supposed to be there to find work for me. The agent, is there to fight for me. Of course, the agent is going to be having contacts with casting directors, but if I leave everything in the hands of agents, if I do not anything, if I do not go to events, then I'm losing power and I will be missing many opportunities. This is a whole network, this work of ours, and we all are creators. Yes, I agree. We all are storytellers. We all are. Okay, I don't want to be negative, but I think that ISGE has presented the 5th social and working survey. And I think that according to that, we are not doing well. It is demolishing. We are talking about highly important things. And when I take a look at the conditions that actors and actresses have here in the Basque Country, I see that 6% of us are working without signing a contract. Oh, that is outrageous. Okay, work law, labor law is quite informal. But then how can we protect the rights if we do not have a contract? It is impossible. That is a problem for producers. If there is not a contract there, then you cannot use that product. Well, the actor is there, and then they say, well, no, you are not going to be on the screen, so the actor or actresses will have no rights at all, because those 2 minutes, suddenly, that has been cut. And in advertisements, they say, you are not going to be paid image rights because we haven't seen you, but I have worked well. So you need to ask for that contract. It is essential for you, because if at the end of the day you are not being paid what you were promised, you need that contract. No, in the the judges, you know, they do not like these stories very much, even if that is the habit or the custom. Yes, we need a contract. We need to put things black on white. It is true that we can also have an oral agreement, yes, but if then you do not have that written down, if then there is a claim, how can you prove things? And you need to have that proof if you want to win. Well, thank you for cheering us up. Only 18% of actors and actresses here in the Basque Country, they make more than 18,000 euros per year. No, not per month, per year. Figures. This ISGE report, the one from last year was bad, but this one is even worse. Going back to what you were saying, things that are still pending in terms of the statute of artists. Yes, income tax. Actors and actresses, they shouldn't be taxes every year, but every 2 years or every 3 years. Yes, but you know, this is a very important problem in the ministry. That is not possible. But I think that in France, yes, we like European law when it is easy. I think that, for example, let's say this year you are working and you are going to be, for example, I mean, you are working this year, but maybe you are not going to be working in 3 years' time. Yes, that is something that we are trying to do, but it is very hard because it is true that for the moment we are not supported at all. We are not supported at all by the ministry. It is very difficult to negotiate when they do not want to sit around the table, but yes, that is important as well. Okay, so let me continue. Okay, last figure. 69% of Basque professionals are below the poverty line. So, well, that is not something only unique for the Basque Country, no. That is, we are talking about social exclusion, a social exclusion issue. No, the solution is not easy, I'm sorry. I think that most of you, at the same time, you're also working as I don't know, in bars, or if not, you cannot survive. We only see the glamour on the red carpet, but behind the red carpet, there are so many people for whom this is very hard. This whole thing is highly vocational. Yes, and when you are on the red carpet, maybe somebody has lent you the dress or the earrings. Well, that is the reality. We only see those 4 who make much more than 30,000 euros per year, but we forget about all the others who are there struggling. I have a question for you. We are here because we're creators and storytellers, but I also know that you search for talent and the best person for a film. And I am deeply convinced that that is what the directors want. But then we reach the platforms, the executives, and what about them? What about their decision-making power? If I am a producer in Netflix, maybe I will prefer, if I have to make a choice between 2 actresses, okay, this one has 400 followers and the other has 3 million followers. Maybe the executives will prefer the one with millions of followers. That is only clear. So I only have 400 followers, but whatever the other actress says is going to be seen or read by thousands or millions. So up to what point those executives have a word to say. I can tell you that we are so very lucky. We are a captain, and our captain is the filmmaker, the director. We work with magnificent directors who know what they want, who they want to tell the story. That's on the one hand. That is the situation. And it is very, very strange to have two. This is just like love. I want only one, because if not, I get dizzy. So we say, why have we fallen in love with this actor or that actress? And we work in a team. I think that we need to be working like that when we are making a film. Then there are different products. And sometimes we are hired even before they have a director, a filmmaker. When there is a vacuum, a void of creation, and when there is not an author, a real author, then at that point things start cracking. We start having problems. No, but we have never been in those situations. No, not at all. And we have made so many films, and we've been working with so many different platforms. Yes, that is the never-ending conversation. In the past, we didn't have the social media, were not there, didn't exist, but the conversation was the same one. Oh, this actor has gone to the audition and she was great, but this other is more famous. And that was exactly like that when we started making films. Everybody wanted to have Maribel Verdú, this actor or this actress, or Marta Etura, the best known actors, the most fashionable ones. That was already like that. Something has changed, and it is interesting for actors, even if it doesn't seem true. The fact of having a production having exploded like that is that there are many more auditions. And when somebody, is associated with a character, it is very difficult to do something else. It is just like love. If you firmly believe that that person is that or like that, creators, there is a lot at stake for them. This is not a simple decision. And 1,000 times we have heard, well, why can't we say this or that to this person or to the other? And you can say, oh, I have this friend. Oh, okay, you're the producer, so you can give her the lead role because she is your friend. And then he remains silent.
There's always silence on the other side. So this is a very strong industry. There are many aspects that are so important, and I want to think, and maybe we are very romantic, but I want to think that we are together on this boat, that the stories called and told by so many people with different ideas and different eyes are very good for millions of people. And if only 20 famous actors did all the movies in Netflix, it would be fantastic, but it doesn't work. There's multiplicity, there's alchemy, and we need many more people, not just the famous ones. We can fight against a wall. Of course, the algorithm in Netflix, everything is true, but we have to fight against the wall to try to crush it, because our successes started with risk. Patria, we took a risk, and the success has been incredible because the series was made in Basque with Basque actors. It was the greatest HBO series in Spain, and it was a total success. And we took risks for this. It's only out of our experience. Maybe we were lucky. This is just a claim on my part. But it's not your case as casting directors, but sometimes we go to auditions and we then get to know that they started to shoot and nobody called you. And they started to shoot, but they do the auditions with us later on. And we are amazed. Instead of sending the email saying we cannot count on you. The problem is that we wait for 1 to 2 months. We wait for this email to answer. We are people, and we cannot accept that because they don't even send us an email saying that they are not going to count on us. Just a moment. In ABE and from other organizations, of course, if they cannot answer and send emails to all the audited actors, because the auditions sometimes were organized for 3 days, but in fact it's made for 1 day. But they can send an email saying we cannot count on you. But we want to facilitate things. If they tell us, okay, this audition has ended, this call has ended, it's over. If you have no news, is that you haven't been selected. That's the response. If you don't have an email, it means that you haven't been selected. That's all. That's one of the conditions. We have this problem, the agents, because you send your actor and you have no answer. As an actress, I suppose that my work finishes when I have uploaded my audition, and that's all I do. And if I have information, it's okay, but my work is to act, and I send my audition. But I'm not there to wait for an email. And if I get the email, maybe they say, okay, you've been auditioned and you haven't been selected. I received many of these rejected emails. But if you don't have an agent, you don't know what to do. I'm always told when I'm not selected. Sometimes, even if you have an agent, you're not informed. Maybe you can tell me that I didn't send it to you, but I think some of the doors are open and some of the doors have to be closed from the other side. We can call. You can also call us to ask. Maybe we shouldn't be so personal. Sometimes we do not control the process. Maybe we haven't finished our work for 1 week and we continue. I think the first audition we carried out for a character that was 4 months ago, and we continue to look for that character, for that actor. Sometimes you cannot control your schedule. So we have people in the office, and we insist a lot. They have to call to say, this is closed and you haven't been selected. And you do an audition and they call you 5 months later. Oh, they've just forgotten about you. They've forgotten about this production. We cannot control our schedule and our time in many of our productions. So don't wait for the email. You have to call them. Of course, if you go have a dinner with a date and this person doesn't call you the day after, I mean, don't wait for the call. Don't wait for the email. You have to ask first. Get the information. Don't wait for that. Because some people are called because they've been pre-selected. They are in the pre-selection, and we call them, thank you for your audition, but you're not in the final list. Yes, the last question. We all speak about our experiences with the auditions, with the calls, with the castings. Well, there's a time to wait, because you carry out an audition, you have no news, and then you start to wait. You have an agent or not an agent. I had to call my agent because I have no news for 1 month, and the agent calls and they didn't take a decision yet. But lately I was doing a casting for a film for a specific character. I wasn't chosen for that, but I was chosen for another role, and I was given the sequence and and the papers, and then I see that the date is arriving. The day is very close, and I have no news. The agent doesn't give me any news. Nobody says anything to me. And I think it's not normal. I have no information. I call my agent, and the agent says, "You're right, Patty. I'm going to call them." And suddenly they say, "Well, your sequence has disappeared in the movie, and I wasn't informed of that." This doesn't happen very often, but maybe the casting director didn't know about that. Sometimes I don't know what are the lines that have been suppressed. The casting directors do not know because the sequence has disappeared when we have already selected the actor and we're not informed about that. Somebody has acted wrongly. It's incredible. It's a lack of respect, a lack of professionalism. According to the decree, this is a termination of contract. You can complain because that's illegal. It's illegal. I should have known you before. Yes, you should read the decree because this is the failure to respect the contract. People should know about this. Sometimes you call an actor, and the actor is fantastic. Okay, fantastic. And then I want to hire you. And the people from production call the actor, and they say, "Okay, you have these dates, but there's he's got a theater play on Friday. No problem because the theater play is on Friday and the rest is on Saturday." Okay, I take note of that. The call is ended, and he says he cannot do that, even though the person is free on Saturday. And I always say, "Did you call the manager to tell that this person is not selected because of that different date?" So you have to complain. You have to complain, and we have to complain when we know about those ugly situations. And when the people from production say, no, all the people who are sent to us have to be fantastic and pure and perfect. But it's impossible. Of course, you have a theater, you have a gig, you have a theater play. You may have something else during the week. Microphone, please. If you have 3 sessions in May, you have to tell them. But sometimes they ask you to be free for the whole month. I would like to talk about Inigo and for people who have no agent, because these people have no agent and we are in the middle, and sometimes you never get to the line and to the goal, and you never know why you haven't been chosen. Why? Sometimes they say yes, no. There's a no man's land, a sense of being left aside. Well, this is linked to creation. I think that musicians and writers, if you write a novel, you send it to a publishing house, and then they say no. You don't really know why they say no, because on the other side there's a lot of information that you don't know. It's very difficult to get to know it. This work has a real component. We are not surgeons. We're not analysts. But maybe people don't want to tell you why you haven't been selected. Maybe things cannot be changed because for many reasons they don't want you. But for you, this information that doesn't help you. It's not a good information for you. You need to get to a creative balance. This is a very complex job and gives you a lot of satisfaction. It's pleasure. There's a balance between risk and pleasure, and things are changing in your life. Sometimes you're fed up. Maybe you don't need to know why you haven't been chosen, and sometimes you are very happy because you got a role and you are enjoying it, but it doesn't last. But you have to stop being afraid and anguished and nervous about that. You have to continue doing your job. There's no single formula. If a single formula existed for all, this magical recipe would be shared with you. There's not about the enigma of the pyramid. I think we need more stories to be told for more people. And the role that you got, some other people didn't have your role, but that time you got it, and many people wanted to have that role because that at that time you were the ideal person. It depends on many factors. Don't think about your failure. Sometimes it's because you were the perfect person for that role, and many other actors didn't have your part. And I always want to think about life because I don't want my ex-partner to tell me why he left me. I don't want to say it, to know it. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help me. He's going to leave me, that's all. I'm a piece of shit, but I don't want to know. It helps me to understand this situation. It's very frustrating. Frustration is part of our job. Like in your life, I love you, you don't love me, and I don't want to know why. You have to continue with your life. You have to go on. It's useless. We want to know why. It doesn't matter. It's not useful. You will never know for sure. It's very difficult to explain for us. For a director, it's very difficult to explain why they don't want this person. You never know. It's very subtle. It's like love. There are many factors during the audition. It gets uncontrollable. We cannot control. We cannot really know it. Sometimes you do 200 auditions with YouTubers, with many actors, and we do a lot of auditions. But there's another factor. When we're not selected doesn't mean that we are bad. And when we are picked up, we're not the best. There are thousands of other factors that cannot be controlled by us. It's a little detail sometimes. And we have to understand it's a personal work. When they say no, we need to go on. And I'm not the best person for this part. And I have to understand. Maybe they're not looking for that. And they're not looking for me. And sometimes you're very happy because you think you're going to be chosen for this part, but it's not true. It's part of creative jobs. It's in the DNA of our profession. I have many friends. They are musicians, and it's the same. They have a hit. It's the same person writing a hit, and the next songs are a failure. A director, it's the same. A fantastic movie, and the next movie is bad. And they don't know why it works and why it doesn't work. Why? And it's the same question. Why? We work with us. That's the risk. That's a fine line in our profession, and you have to take care of you. Remember that we love what we do. It's incredible. The pleasure and the enjoyment it gives people and gives you when it works. We cannot forget about that. We are here because we want to be here. Nobody forced us to do this job. In fact, we love it. And you grow as a person. Then the failures help you grow. And you improve. And many people have very horrible jobs. They never enjoy what they do during their whole professional life. And we are very lucky. Sometimes we touch the sky. We touch heaven.
Terminando, bai?
No, this is the end.
Mesedez, mikrofona hor lehenengo lerroan.
Respecto a la inteligencia artificial.
Talking about artificial intelligence, several months I got a message by email saying that they were looking, they wanted to have a database with Basque-speaking people to feed an AI in Basque. A database with Basque speaking people for AI in Basque. In other languages, it's already done. So you have to defend your language, and what do you have to do with that? What can they do with that voice, with your words, with, well, I never answer that. I suppose that you have received that proposal. I don't know. I got a second message, but I erased it. But they know how to do it. They know who is the person who's going to answer, and for free. Okay. Dear all, we have no more time left. As creative people, very passionate people, we will continue to fight. I hope that one day we'll be out of misery and poverty. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
¿Avisatu dituzu? Pues eso, ahora tenemos un pinchito, por lo menos para que... Aquí van a venir, o sea que sí, no tenemos que movernos. Muchas gracias.